Wojo, this is JP, and tonight we saw John Carter of Mars or John Carter of Earth?
It was just John Carter.
John Carter,
yes.
Okay, John Carter.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty awesome. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a bit long though.
Yes, it was very long.
In parts, it dragged on a bit. It got boring.
Yes, okay, that was my problem. It dragged on quite a bit.
It's like a 2
hour
20-minute movie, and it should be about an hour and a half.
Yeah, they could have definitely cut down a lot of stuff.
And they could have kept all the action and all the important plot points, and not so much just boring walking through the desert kind of.
You know what they really could have cut out was, and I know, yeah, it kind of gives you an idea into the character, and it gives a point to the ring, but they could have cut out the stuff with his, like...
Oh, that was very important to the story. The stuff with his wife and his kid.
Do you think about it? It kind of is, but at the same time, if they cut it out...
That didn't make that much of a difference as far as time constraints, because it was while something important was happening in the movie,
yeah, it would jump
back.
It. So
it's not like it was a whole scene.
Yeah.
It was more of part of other scenes. So I would cut out more just talking. There's a lot of talking.
There was
going
a lot
on,
of that.
and boring,
especially
talking.
in the beginning. Especially, and not even like of John Carter too. It was like there was a lot of it was the other characters, and it was a lot of talking.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was cool though, because I didn't know what John Carter was. I'd never read the book or anything like that.
Neither did I.
And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's kind of like a Western, which is kind of cool. And then you're in space, and you have green aliens with 4 arms, which I thought was a good surprise. You know, because I had no idea. From the previews, they don't show you any of that.
Oh, the Western part.
Yeah, because I
think the
they
Western
didn't show you any of that in the previews.
I like that part. The Western part of it was very interesting. It actually kind of was like, hey, you know, maybe this is. You know what the thing that bothered me about it? After he left like the Old West, he never had a gun the entire freaking movie, or not the entire movie, but for a while. Most of it was swords.
He didn't bring his gun with him, and he can't.
No, I know.
Swords are really big for 10-foot tall. Not purple. They're actually green aliens.
Yeah,
you can't really handle a weapon like that, but you can handle a sword because he's a lot stronger than he was on Earth, which was cool too. It's kind of got a Superman thing going on with his, how Superman. The only reason he's Superman is because of the sun, the yellow sun, and he goes to Mars, and he's this incredible. So he can't fly, but he can jump a lot, really high, and he's really strong because of. I guess because of the gravity.
Yeah, the gravity is. Mars is 3/4
bones,
the same.
So he's a lot stronger, and he's a lot faster, and he can jump really high. So that's pretty cool.
I like the CGI for the other aliens, like the animalistic aliens in it, where they had the arena match and the dog, like the little alien doggy. That was fun. I like the CGI in it, and that looked kind of more like realistic than the other aliens, the actual race of aliens that were in it. And if you've seen the trailers, you know what I'm talking about. That you saw it in the movie.
Right.
I don't know. They weren't as convincing as, say, the dog and the things that they were riding.
Really?
I don't know. I don't feel like the other aliens were as convincing.
What do you mean?
Actually, you know what?
They're aliens.
But there's still like texture. You know what it is? For some of them, they were, because the one he had a fight at the end, the one with the broken horn, that was that one I actually kind of sat there and went, I could believe that would be an alien I'd run into.
Yeah, but it was the same as the other one.
But it's the texture that was on the skin and the broken horn and stuff like that really sold it. Whereas when you're looking at like I can't even remember the names for half of these creatures.
Yeah, they're really the long names, but
you just remember John Carter,
Willem Dafoe's character.
Yeah.
Which is the main alien that you first meet.
I don't know, I feel like
he was the same thing, minus the broken horn almost. He was a little bit skinnier.
He was skinnier, but he also had the skin texture looked a little different, too.
I wasn't paying attention to skin texture.
That's what sells it, though.
And not for normal people. Normal people aren't looking at the skin texture of the aliens and critiquing skin texture.
No, but it's not like you're critiquing the skin texture. It's the fact that what sells it for you on a subconscious level. So like, when you go ahead and look at these things, you go, yeah, I can buy that. No, I can't buy it. I can't buy that.
It's aliens. They're aliens. Obviously, they're aliens.
Well, look, when Total Recall comes out and you see Patrick Tatopoulos' stuff,
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
It's going to be sick, but also a lot of it's going to be like, you know, a mixture of makeup and, you know...
Yes, I understand
CGI.
that. But I don't think this particular movie you could have done something like that. A lot of movies you either have to go all the way one way or all the way the other way, for the most part. You can't have exceptions, but this particular movie, there were so many. There's a whole army of aliens. And if you made like one of them real and the rest of them were CGI, you know, it would look weird, honestly.
I don't know about that, because you're talking about the difference between a close-up and then a wide array of... Because they do it in movies all the time. They have background people that aren't people, that are just...
Yeah, I can tell, though.
Like,
I can tell
in a
it was
full
all
stadium
CGI.
and stuff like that.
Sure, of course I can tell that's all CGI.
Because your eyes aren't really focused on some of it.
You're looking at skin texture. How are you not focusing on
Because
that?
I'm talking about like when it's like really up close, like to the camera, like the when like you're really doing like the full on, like when you really get to see the alien.
I don't know. I disagree. I thought it looked fine. I think it looked good. I think they were good design aliens. I like the four arms thing. That was kind of funny. And the fact that they kept calling him Virginia in the beginning, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, well, no, there were a lot of funny aspects to the movie, but there was a lot of droning on, a lot of talking.
Yes, there were. I agree with that. There was a lot.
And that's
could have been cut. Like I said, it could have been an hour and a half. Would have been.
And to me,
good.
That's the thing that bothers me with like movies, is if there's too much talking and it's like...
Yeah, but talking's okay sometimes. If it's really developing the plot and it's really giving you a background story or whatever.
But it has
but
to...
in this particular case, it wasn't doing it. It was just dragging.
Like
on.
my pet peeve was like, you know, somebody like, I don't know, I feel like it just slows down the not every movie where talking is... Like, talking doesn't always block up everything.
Right.
But if it slows down the movement and the feeling of the film,
yes,
then it should be cut out.
I agree. It should be. Like I
We
said,
agree on something.
For it, right? It's amazing. 45 minutes of this film should have been. It should have been 45 minutes shorter. It could have been cut down by at least that much, and it still would have been a great movie. Still would have been actiony. The timing of the movie would have kept flowing. I would have been entertained the whole time. I would not have been yawning and wanting to leave, quite honestly. Or, you know what, not quite wanting to leave, I would say, but just bored, waiting for the next kind of action scene to take place. But other than that, it was a good movie.
I would say, like, when you got past, like, when you got into the second half of the movie, that's
beginning
when
was
it
slow.
speeds up and it kind of gets
The middle was really action-packed. And then you
not really like when you get through the second half of the middle. Like,
yeah, and
when you get into the middle of the second act, that's where it starts getting into like you really aren't going slow anymore. You are into this actiony adventure.
And then the ending was good.
Yeah,
the ending was very good. And then I like the way they did set it up for a second movie or possibly a third, possibly a trilogy. It works. Everything's kind of explained by the end of the movie where you understand how this happened and the whole nine. So I thought it was explained very well. However, like I said, there were parts where it just dragged on with the dialogue, really.
And that's a big like negative to a movie if it does that. Like, and believe me, that is a difference between like an awesome Oscar nominated movie and nobody saw this movie because nobody wanted to sit through the freaking 3-hour cut.
Right.
And it is a big deal.
Yes.
And if there was like something to it that it was never seen before too, but it is kind of just like your regular sci-fi action movie.
It is.
And not only that, the story, especially like the arena scene, is very similar because if you ever seen a Star Wars Episode 2?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Monsters and a stadium of aliens, and then the good guy beats up the huge monster. Basically, is what it is.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you could probably cut out parts of Star Wars Episode 2.
And almost that would have been weird, but might actually work. They'll save them money.
Like, if you were just, like, screwing around, like, you were just like,
Why is there suddenly a lightsaber in the background? I don't understand. Oh, okay. Now
why do those aliens have wings?
Right? Interesting.
But that's where, like, there's certain scenes in it that felt almost repetitive of other movies, and if it was, like, if this movie was, say, made 15, 20 years ago, maybe I could almost forgive the long, sluggish... Actually, no, I probably wouldn't still forgive it.
No, you probably wouldn't.
Fuck it. No, it was too... There's just... It's a pacing thing. When you have too much dialogue in a movie, or in anything, really, if the dialogue doesn't work and it doesn't flow, you gotta cut it out.
It's true. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. And but would you say go see this movie? Would you suggest going to see it?
Yeah. Go with if you're gonna go at night and you're really tired. Drink a lot of coffee though.
And go with a girl if you're a guy. This is go with a girl, and because when it gets boring, you can make out the whole time. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, we needed the 45. We needed the 45 minutes of boring shit.
You can start making out. Then you'll hear when it starts getting excited. You can continue to watch the movie. So, actually, it's a good movie. I would say go and see it. Although it does drag on in parts, though. Yeah. But it's a good sci-fi action adventure.
I was just annoyed that when we got into the theater, there was nobody in that theater. Yeah, people sat right behind us.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
I'm like, were you guys planning to hit on this?
There were 4 people.
Four,
including the 2 of us. There were the whole theater, this huge, and it was one of the big ones too. And literally 5 people. I see them coming up the stairs. And I'm like, I swear to God, they better not sit next to us or behind us. And they did. The whole friggin' movie theater, and they sit directly behind us and start talking really loud, and that just annoys me. People out there, if you're watching, always give at least 1 row, especially if it's a movie theater that is empty. I understand that if
it's one of those movie theaters
crowded,
where there's not a lot of bad seats.
Right, Jesus. 1 freaking row up would not have killed them, and we were in the middle, and we could have put our feet. It was annoying, and then people sat in front of us.
Actually, no, there weren't people who sat. They sat over to the side, and they got mad because my foot's over here.
Well, that would piss me off a little bit.
But my foot was on this chair.
Yeah, your foot was on the chair right there, and the guy was sitting next to where your foot was. It was kind of close. I would be annoyed. But anyway, regardless of that, I would just say give at least a row to other people. Common courtesy, rule of thumb, if you will, when you go to the movies. That's our suggestion, because you'll just piss people off and be really obnoxious.
I mean, obviously, when it's a busy night, it's a busy night. Tonight we went on a Sunday night.
It was dead. There was nobody there.
It was dead, and then it was like, okay, we're gonna sit right behind you,
right, and then talk really loud and kick the seat. Sometimes it was bad. So just don't do it. Do everybody.
It's bad. Don't kick the seats. No, but overall, it wasn't a bad movie. It was a pretty decent one. What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10, a 6.
Yeah, that was around my number too. I was saying 6 or 7
out of 10.
I probably wouldn't even get up to 7 on that because again, it's that pacing.
Yep, that's what. If it was like I said, if it was an hour and a half movie, I would probably give it an 8.
Yeah, I would say 6.
Solid 6. But go see it and judge it for yourself. But that's what we think anyway.
And what kind of people do you think would go see this movie? Because I know there's certain people don't like sci-fi movies. I know that there are people who like a certain. Well,
that's the thing. There's a lot involved in this movie. There's a lot of different kind of genres, if you will. There's action. There's sci-fi.
There's western.
There's also love story involved, romance, drama. So there's kind of a lot involved.
And you're also watching a movie that's based off of a book that was written 100 years ago.
Was it really?
1912. So it's literally 100 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was a book.
Yeah, give or take, it was written about 100 years ago.
Imagine that.
So you're going off of
So that makes sense as to why it was taking place in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't that long ago for the guy writing.
Yeah, the guy writing it was like, oh, that was last week. I don't know.
Right, the guy. Right. Okay, so it makes sense. I didn't know that, but yeah, it was well done, and go see it.
It's fun. Maybe they'll release a shorter cut of it.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I know. I was praying.
I doubt it. They'll release a longer version of it.
I hope not.
The second one will be 4 hours.